What's going on, everybody? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, and join me today for an advanced look at the Fist of the North Star hardcover edition from this manga. So, stay tuned. And welcome back, everybody. Before getting started, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. We put out videos every day, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, depending on how crazy we get. And don't forget to share the video. So before we take an advanced look at this wonderful hardcover from Viz, and by the way, big thank you to the folks at Viz for sending us an advanced copy of this hardcover edition that comes out on June 15th everywhere. So this is one that I'm really excited about. It was in my top 10 must purchases, must buys for the month of June. It was one of my most anticipated collected editions coming out in 2021. And there's a couple of reasons why. Before there was, really, I'm going to give you just a little bit of background and then we'll look at the inside, I promise. So, before there was Dragon Ball Z here in America, before there was even Berserk here in America, kids from the 80s and 90s, we grew up watching Streamline Anime, which was about the only company that brought over anime here to America, uncensored anime. So, one of the earliest ones that they brought was Fist of the North Star, the movie, the 1986 movie, which was made by Toei Animation, the same people that did a lot of the Transformers and the Transformers animated movie from the same year. And it was the most violent thing I'd ever seen when I was a kid, and I would show it to my friends. I mean, I would make sure that I have sleepovers just to watch the movie with my friends over and over, and they were just shocked, as shocked as I was the first time watching it, because it was so violent, so bloody, so over the top. And, oh, it was wonderful. And then, Viz, in 1989, started publishing the manga here in America in single-issue format. I think they went up to, like, issue 16, and then they decided to collect it in this, right here, trade paperback format. This is from 1995. I still have my copy, and I'll be doing a comparison of it here soon. But, I refuse to give this up. So, unfortunately, like, the series just didn't sell enough, and they only did 4 more of these trade paperback editions and canceled the series. So a few years later, Raijin decided to bring out the Master Editions, and the Master Editions were the colored versions of Fist of the North Star. And unfortunately, again, that's went only up to Volume 9 before it got canceled worldwide, not just here in America. So we've had the anime come out here. This been out into some anime, some OVAs, and a movie, a live-action movie, a couple live-action movies, but video games. Now this year, Viz has officially announced that they're going to be bringing out these are based on the Ultimate Editions, the hardcovers. There were 27 tankobons released from 1983 to 1989 in Japan. And 14 of these Ultimate hardcover editions. So these collect about 1.5 of the tankobons, of the smaller tankobons. So we'll be looking at those. So yeah, before we get started, let me know in the comments down below if you have fond memories of those amazing martial arts, over-the-top, ridiculous, violent movies, or the TV show, or the manga itself. Or was it the soundtrack? Give me my life, give me my energy. Yeah, it was the soundtrack, right? That soundtrack was awesome. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So here on the front board, by the way, this has no dust jacket, but the front board here is a picture of Kenshiro, our main character. Here's what the spine looks like. Fist of the North Star, Volume 1. Love seeing that. We already have, I believe, Volumes 2 and 3 in the catalog. And like I mentioned, there should be 14 of these. And then the back with panels from inside of the manga, retailing for $19.99. So the dimensions of this particular hardcover are the same size as those of the Full Metal Alchemist hardcover editions and the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure hardcover editions. They're the exact same height as those. And honestly, the build and the price point are identical to these that are released by Viz. So if you want to compare it to something like a deluxe edition that's a little bit bigger, like Berserk, which retails for $49.99, here's what it looks like in comparison to Berserk. So it's a little smaller in scale, but still bigger than your average tankobon here. So let's take a look inside and talk about what this is now that we've done this size comparison. And I'll be doing a comparison to the original printing here in a few minutes. So this is Fist of the North Star, the manliest, or one of the most manliest manga ever to have been released. This is all the work of Buronson, who is the writer, and Tetsuo Hara, who is the illustrator. And from 1983 all the way up until 1988, maybe some of 89, they wrote and drew all of this. So again, collected in 27 smaller tankobons and 14 of these editions here, the Ultimate Editions. So in the year, as the beginning says, and as you can tell here, there are colored pages in this thick, real glossy paper here. In the year 1990X, the world was engulfed in nuclear fire. However, humanity survived. So the world, everything has perished. Food, water has become really rare, and it's only the strong will survive. And that's really the premise of the entire world of Fist of the North Star. And we transition here from color to black and white, and we go back to this matte pages here that are not glossy. So we're introduced to this silent, quiet guy named Kenshiro, who has 7 wounds on his chest, and all of it is revealed here. And he uses a technique called the Hokuto Shinken technique, which gives you the ability to kill your opponent by striking their secret vital points. So it's funny how all this came about. Actually, the editor talks a little bit about it towards the end of the book. And we're not going to talk about the entire book, but just highlighting what the main premise is, as well as showing off the artwork. And in this post-apocalyptic world, Kenshiro meets his character of Bats, right here, this young man, and this young lady who is mute, and this is Rin. Now, in the original translation, I think her name was Lin, but Kenshiro not only can kill people at the touch of his fingers, but apparently can also heal them, as it's shown here when he touches Rin's head. And he's given her the ability to talk whenever she wants to. Now, why she can't talk is really sad, because she saw her parents get murdered right in front of her face. So that's one big warning about this. Much like Berserk, this series is very violent. It's over the top violence. So there's blood, there's guts everywhere, there's broken bones, there are just decapitations everywhere. Is a horrible place to live. Now, I'm sure you're probably seeing the artwork here, and you're probably thinking, oh, this is completely the world of Mad Max. Absolutely, yes. And Kenshiro is based a little bit on Mel Gibson's character. And, of course, the way he fights and the way he looks, even his stance, is Bruce Lee. Now, there's also some inspiration here from Violence Jack, which was a 1970s Go Nagai anime about a world very much like this. Now, I don't know if Mad Max was inspired by Violence Jack. Who's to say? But let's just say Go Nagai was not credited in that. And in this violent world, only the strongest survive. And here we have Rin being taken by this huge guy named Zed, or Zed. And Kenshiro's not gonna have it. And this is how he fights. He touches vital points, kicking them, punching them, or even just using his finger, and their bodies end up blowing up. Now, this also is a love story, because Kenshiro is just wandering the land looking for his fiancée, Yuria, who he hasn't seen for a long time because she was taken from him. Well, I'll let you find out all of that by reading this. Now, after killing this guy here, he moves on with Bats, and Rin stakes behind. This is exactly the type of artwork you're going to be seeing. After punching him a couple times, this is what happens to your body. Badass. Love it. And then Kenshiro leaves, along with Bats, and Rin stays. Now, of course, that's not the last time we see Rin, but you can find out for yourself how their paths cross again. And yes, you probably noticed the man with the 7 wounds, so the 7 wounds that he has given, and you will find out how he was given those, make up this star alignment there. So you also have pages like this that have different tones instead of just black and white that begin a new chapter. It's not the first time we've had a manly, over-the-top, quiet character show up in the pages of manga and Shonen Jump. We've had other characters like this. However, this was a little bit different, because what you're expecting is this quiet guy, very lonesome to himself. but he's kind of a smartass. I know everyone probably, or most people have seen the meme, the "you're already dead" meme, right? I assume you've seen that. That's the kind of humor this has. While he's kicking the crap out of these people, he's calling them baldy or fat ass, or he's telling them that they're already dead, or they'll be dead in 3 seconds because he's already hit their vital points. That's so badass. You don't really see that a lot. Like, usually characters, strong types like this, are quiet and to themselves, and yes, a little kid comes around and they're like, hey, I'll talk to you, but no one else. Kenshiro's not, he doesn't shy away from crying. He doesn't shy away from showing his feelings, and that's what I like about this. That's why this is it's one of the best-selling manga of all time. Outside of the US, this thing has sold millions. It's insane how popular this series is. It's inspired video games. It's inspired pachinko machines. Holy crap, how many pachinko machines can you make a Fist of the North Star? Like I've mentioned, movies, OVAs, TV shows, the Canon movie, and not only that, but it's an inspiration for a lot of manga creators like Toriko, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, even Kentaro Miura, rest in peace, drew heavily from this for the character of Guts. So, while this, was inspired by Mad Max and the Violence Jack series, this also inspired a generation of just over-the-top, muscular dudes fighting each other. It's so fun and good. Like, I couldn't put this book down. I literally just got this in the mail from Viz, and I was like, yes, I haven't read this in years. So, before we go any further, this particular volume has 306 pages. And like I mentioned, retails for $19.99. Now, not going to show much of the back, but just to show you some of the artwork here. Yeah, back here with Hart, this guy right here, who does appear in the movie. As a matter of fact, all these generals sort of show up in the movie in a cameo. And King is the bad guy during this arc, and there's a big surprise as to who King is, but you can find out all of that by checking out this book. Now, let's look in the very back here. So here's a special commentary right here. It's been over 37 years since Fist of the North Star was born, and it's all written by Nobuhiko Horie, who was the CEO and representative director of Koemix Corporation. So he was one of the editors that came up with the idea, and how he came up with the idea was going to a store that sold books from China, and they had a book on acupuncture. And he thought that would be a cool thing to do if the protagonist of the story could kill people just by touching vital points. And that's where this legend came from. Now, there were spin-off series from this after the 27-volume tankobon. There was Fist of the Blue Sky, and then there was anniversary editions that came out of this. But like I said, the Master Edition unfortunately got canceled, and it only lasted 9 volumes, and that was the one that was digitally colored. Would have been cool to see the end of that, but this, to me, is just the perfect way to own it. Now, let's do a comparison to the original. Now, this brings back memories because I could not find issue number 2 of this series. When they were coming out in single issues, this is 16 chapters in here, or 16 issues, when Viz was releasing them. I couldn't find issue 2, and in 1995, I went to Mid-Ohio Con, and Viz set up at a small table with only 2 people working it, and they had this, and I was like, yes, I'm taking that. I need that. That's awesome that you guys are doing collected editions. Look, I was a fan of collected editions long before I knew it. Now, this copy and I have been through hell, and it's had its share of love. So this here collects a little more than this does, but it reads in the outdated format of left to right. None of it is in color. All right, so let's go here to show you the differences between the original translation and the new translation, the Ultimate Edition. So, as you can tell, even the sound effects are different. So the sound effects, I'm sure you probably noticed as I was flipping through here, are translated within the panels. So there's not a glossary in the back telling you what the sound effects are. They're translated within the page. And even the sound effects are different, but also the dialogue. We go from "tomorrow will not suffer the likes of you, for today you die," to "you don't deserve to live beyond today." Things like that. Also names. Like I mentioned, Rin. She's Rin here, which is the original name. In the original translation from Viz, she was known as Lin. And you go from you monster to you bastard, which, like I said, is closer to the original Japanese. Because back then, besides the misspellings that we had with these books, there was also some Americanization of the translations. Oh, this is a cool shot. Why didn't I show this? You know, chalk has a lot more impact than pop. But anyway, what I was saying is back then, you know, beggars couldn't be choosers. We couldn't, we only had a couple of manga to buy. And we couldn't be picky. So we let some things that were misspelled, and like we all knew a lot of these things were Americanized, the translations, so we let that fly by. And we don't even have the opening page, A Cry from the Heart? Come on, Viz, where were you? Alright, so there. That gives you an idea as to what the original printing was like. Man, I still remember buying this. Now, the other thing I'm going to say about this particular translation here, or this particular book, other than how badass it is and how much I really enjoy it, and I hope, you know, you'll check it out, is that you're going to see a character walk around naked. He's a full-grown man. He's walking around naked. Now, I'm going to give you just a little bit of history about that and why you don't see full frontal male nudity in this. There's no other way to put it. Well, back then there was an obscenity law that you couldn't show genitalia outside of kids. So, like, for example, if you've read Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball, you're probably wondering, well, wait, Omar, I saw Goku's little, you know, his ding-dong. I don't know how else to word that. Anyway, I have kids. So, yes, because he's a toddler, he's a little kid. That was okay. And boobies are okay. I feel like a 12-year-old explaining this. But anyway, full-grown men, full genitalia, no, it had to be blurred out. So you're gonna see a character here that's wearing nothing but a cape, walking around like a badass naked. It's not that his junk got blown off, it's just that they couldn't draw it. They weren't allowed to draw it. I can't believe I'm ending the video that way, but I figure I need to explain that in case people are new to manga and aren't used to that specific art style that's missing things. But that's it. That, as they say, is that. Actually, no, that is not all. One thing I didn't mention was the binding of this book. It is sewn binding, and there's that eye. So when it lays down, it's really nice, especially when there's some spread pages. So I did want to mention that. Now, that, as they say, is that. Whoops. There. That's better. And that was it. That was my overview, as well as the comparison to the original printing of Fist of the North Star. This is the hardcover edition, again from Viz, coming out June 15th. And when it comes out, don't forget to check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online source for collected editions up to 50% off retail price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on excellent packaging, so your stuff gets to you in excellent condition, and they have amazing customer service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And for all you Minties that are watching, if you're a first-time customer, don't forget to mention that Near Mint Condition sent you their way for a promotional credit on free shipping on your next order. Now, this is only for U.S. customers. CheapGraphicNovels.com, your source for the hottest books with deep discounts, customer service, and excellent shipping that will keep you coming back for more. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any more questions, or if you, like I mentioned in the video, if you have any memories of Fist of the North Star when you first watched it, or how you were introduced to the series, whether it was the manga, the anime, the video game, or the TV show, or even the Canon Pictures Fist of the North Star movie. Or was it that awesome soundtrack? Or was it the ridiculous meme that's been going around for years? I think that's what's really got a lot of people interested in this. Or was it some of the manga that this inspired, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or Toriko? Again, this was the Uncanny Omar. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Check us out on Patreon and on Spreadshop. Phenomenal ways to support the channel if you can do so. More importantly, everyone, please stay healthy, stay safe. Much love.